Hello, hi everyone. Thank you
Hi
for joining
everyone.
us this evening. So we're joined by Vicky again today, and some of you might have come along to part one of this workshop, but if you didn't, then that's absolutely fine, as I think you're going to do just a little bit of a recap, aren't you, Vicky?
Yeah.
And also you can catch a replay of part one as well if you want to. That will be available for a limited time. So hi Tracy. A bit of housekeeping first, just before we get started. So you're not on camera and you are not on microphone, so we can't see or hear you. But there is the chat feature, as some of you have found already, where you can share any thoughts, any questions, any reflections as well that you want to. We'll go through those, and hi Julia. We'll go through those, and Vicky will spend some time answering any questions that you have. And yeah, please have a little chat amongst yourselves in there as well and connect with one another. I think that's, oh yeah, also this will be recorded as well, and you will receive a replay, so you'll be able to catch up and come back to any bits that you might want to reflect a little bit more deeply on. Yeah, at any time that you want to. So I think that's it from me. So I will pass on over to you, Vicky.
Thanks, Stacey. Hi everyone. So good to be back. Thanks for coming along. Just to let you know, I'm going to close the chat feature whilst I'm presenting. The reason for that is that I automatically, I don't know if it's the same for you, if something's written, I automatically go to read it. And if I'm in the middle of a sentence, I'll just like stop mid-sentence because I'm reading.
Yeah, I get a little distracted.
So I'm just going to close that now. But what I am going to do is come to that every now and again. I'm wondering if, Stace, could you mute yourself, please? I can hear feedback. Ah, maybe that's better. Yeah, that's cool. Thank you. Yeah, so I'll come every now and again to the chat so that I can see what's been written and see if you've got any questions. And I'll take pauses during the presentation so that you can ask questions and we can reflect together. Okay, so welcome all of you. Thank you so much for being here. This is such an honour again to be asked to present a little bit more. This workshop, the second part, came about actually because there was still content to get through on the first one and we didn't cover everything that I'd planned, and the feeling was so great amongst the participants of the last one. It kind of felt really natural to flow on into a second part. So really grateful to be here. So I'm going to begin. I've got a presentation for you. So we'll begin. And the first thing is to kind of set the scene for this evening. Firstly, you are welcome here. You are so welcome just as you are. Whatever's going on for you, whatever thoughts are in your mind, whatever feelings you're having, you are welcome here. And you're welcome here as a fellow explorer. And what I mean by that is that what I'm going to share with you is some of the things that have become apparent to me through my own personal journey, through my own growth, through my own reflection, from reading from others, from hearing from others, and kind of all amalgamated into what tonight is. But by no means have I reached a point where I now know everything or that my growth stops. And so in that way, I am as equal an explorer of this kind of psycho-spiritual exploration as any of you. You will have had your journeys, you will have had your own insights, and you will be able to bring those together to us this evening if you'd like to share them. And so we're in it together. We're really here to explore the content that I've got, and I'm so curious and welcoming of you sharing as well. So please do use that chat function if you've got things that you want to share. I'd love to hear from you. Equally, if you want to sit back and just absorb and not give give things into the chat, that's fine. Really enjoy that reflection and absorption and contemplation in quiet as well. That's so valuable too. So as you are, basically, as a fellow explorer. So I'm going to say a little bit more about that approach. Something that I've come to see recently is that the first point here, it says we are a becoming, an evolution. There's nowhere to reach or to get to. And what I've come to see is often when we are in personal development arenas or, with coaching or with counselling or self-help or any of that kind of self-development area, we're often acting and thinking perhaps in a way that there is somewhere to get to, there is something to achieve, almost as if once we get there, then we'll be okay. And I've just come to see that there isn't anywhere to get to. That's an illusion, complete illusion, because once you get to wherever you think you need to get to, there'll be something else come to mind and there'll be another place that you need to get to. And so you're forever kind of grasping or reaching or seeking for an imaginary place. So what I really encourage is for you to see that exactly where you are right now is where you're meant to be. That's where you need to get to. That's it. Right here is where you need to get to. And in the next moment, that's where you need to get to. And tomorrow will be where you need to get to tomorrow. And it happens on its own. It happens naturally. And through that, you are naturally evolving, naturally just a constant becoming, like a fresh person every moment, moment to moment to moment, something new, the possibility for new growth, for new insight, and the newness accompanied by a beautiful stability, a constant, an underlying peace and stillness that never goes anywhere. So we are this beautiful becoming of stillness and silence and new, fresh, every moment. And it's so cool. So if you know that we're that, there really is nowhere to get to, right? Because you're that every moment already. So cool. Okay, so the next point, it says that I'm sharing what I see now, knowing that that changes with growth. So this goes with the next point as well, that I'm not saying that I'm right at all, and the next point, that I'm not sharing an answer. So I'm sharing an understanding. I'm sharing with you what it looks like to me now, knowing that that is not fixed. Never, because I don't know what insight I might have. Even during this presentation, there might be a new insight, and suddenly what I thought I was going to say, I'm not going to say now. And I invite you to embrace that within yourself as well. Embrace that possibility for growth, for insight to just occur, and suddenly everything looks different. And also this point here that I've said, so some of the content that I explore with you this evening might be new. It might, sometimes even, some of it might go against the beliefs that you already hold. It might be quite confrontational in that way, and that's okay. We can hold space for that, absolutely. And so what I encourage people to do is, if there is content that you're not sure if you agree with, or it really kind of comes up against how you'd seen yourself before, firstly, just be still with that. Notice that contraction it might come as, or defensiveness or insecurity, and just notice that feeling and be with that feeling. Raise it in the chat. I want to, I'd love to hear from you and hear your experiences. Question it, and then invite yourself with an open mind and an open heart to hold it as a what if. Like, what if what Vicky's presenting here was true? How does that change things? Like, what if? And just what if it for a while and see what comes. Not that should change your mind. The what ifing may well take you to whatever you saw to start with, and kind of hold that even more in your understanding. And equally, you might see something new. So just play with that area if you can. Yeah, okay, so nearly there. Last point, relax. There is nothing for you to grasp or to grab here. So you're gonna hear things, and I invite you to take what you like and leave what you don't. If it lands with you, great, it was meant for you. And if it doesn't, okay, it wasn't meant for you, that's fine too. And just let it land. You don't have to make that happen. That happens naturally. when something resonates with us, it's on an kind of an energetic level that you're not in control of. You don't know like when something's going to resonate or why. It happens on its own, and you just get the benefit of it. So there's really nothing for you to do apart from to relax and be here and enjoy. Well, not even enjoy, just be here. See what happens here. And this evening's call then, this time for yourself, is a chance for you to practice the qualities that we are here to cultivate together. And those are of curiosity, compassion, and courage. And so allowing those to come to the surface within you as you listen, with a curious mind, kind of holding that what if space, with a compassionate heart. So anything that comes up for you, just really allowing it to be held with love and with gentleness. And with courage. I mean, already courage you're demonstrating from showing up here, from being here, or to have signed up for the workshop, or to be watching it back. To be exploring this content together takes courage, and it takes courage to be honest with what you're hearing and what you're seeing. So it's a chance for you to practice these things. Okay, I'm going to pause there because that actually has opened up. That's quite a lot of kind of philosophy behind that. So I'm just going to nip over to the chat and just see if anyone's saying anything or if you've got any questions so far. Super. Oh, hi, super, new people here. Lovely. Great. Okay, super. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Stacey, for answering there. Yeah, feel free to put your questions up and we can explore them together. Is there anything that's come up for you already, Julia, that you want to pop into the chat now? I see Stacey said here that we'd do it towards the end. We were going to do that last time, and now it just feels right to ask you now. The feeling of shame, what it means, where it comes from, why it's there. Great. Okay, so, well, my first question would put that back to you, actually, Julia. What do you already see for yourself around the feeling of shame? Like, what does it mean for you? Where does it seem to come from for you, and why does it seem to be there? Really common feeling, by the way. Really, yeah, I was exploring that with a client just last night, actually, the feeling of shame. Yeah, you don't know. So actually, Julia, what I'm going to suggest then is that sit with those questions, and as we go through the content this evening, just see if anything new comes to you, or anything, see if anything new comes to you, see if any answers come, not with trying to figure it out, just kind of go, okay, there's the question, maybe just park it and see what opens up through listening to the presentation. I love that you've brought that up. I'm going to make myself a little post-it note, actually, in case something comes up for me. Awesome. Great. So I'm just a little concerned about my battery. 33%. Is that going to last me? We'll see. Okay. We might just take a 5-minute, not even 5 minutes, like a 2-minute break at some point if I think that's
I am actually quickly going to run and get my charger, okay. So I'll just pop my camera off quickly.
But okay, cool. Thanks, Dave. Okay, so going on to the next slide then, what I'd love to recap, so this was from the first presentation, the first workshop, sorry. I'd like to just do a recap of cultivating curiosity, courage and compassion, because that's the title of this workshop, and I want to explain a little bit about what I mean by that. So tonight, the cultivating isn't as we would normally expect it to be. Cultivating in itself being a verb sounds like it's something to do. And I use that language because that's often what we talk about, right? We talk about, if we want to look at curiosity, compassion, or courage, people want to know how. How do I make myself more courageous? How do I make myself more compassionate? How do I get curious about things? And we're flipping that this evening slightly so that we are coming from the approach that there's nothing actually to do. So when I say cultivating this evening, what I'm pointing to is a revealing, an opening up to, a recognizing, an understanding. So I'm not going to give you how-to practices tonight. What we are exploring here is that compassion and curiosity and courage lie within you already. We don't need to build them or make them bigger or make them greater. They already exist within you, within all of us, 100%. Now, of course, our experience of curiosity, compassion, and courage kind of comes and goes. So it can appear sometimes that we feel more courageous than others. Sometimes we feel more compassionate than at other times. Sometimes we feel more curious, and sometimes we're more closed-minded. And this fluctuation is a completely normal and natural part of being human. Feelings fluctuate. And they never go anywhere as qualities within you. And so what we're doing this evening is we're opening up, sorry, just had forgotten to close my chat. We're opening up the possibility that these exist within you, and through understanding who you are at a greater level, through understanding how the mind works, these qualities naturally rise up within you. So they're there already, and it's like we're clearing space for them to come through, and we're clearing space through understanding. So I'm just going to recap then what we mean by curiosity, compassion, and courage this evening. And these are words that just came to mind. So we're talking about, with curiosity, open-mindedness, inquiry, being interested, moving towards something rather than retreating from it, and holding non-judgment. For compassion, we're talking about empathy, an understanding, kindness, love, non-judgment again, tolerance, allowing, accepting, lightness, heart. And I remember on the last workshop, one person said about putting yourself in someone else's shoes. So compassion can definitely be used to help understand others. And this evening, we're also going to invite a self-compassion. So that same understanding, that same thoughtfulness and gentleness towards yourself as well. And courage. So courage being bravery, being holding still with things that are hard, doing difficult things, being with difficult feelings, being true to yourself, being honest, staying when you want to run, running. So what becomes apparent when we start looking at these qualities is that they show up in different ways in different situations for different people. So what might be curiosity, compassion, and courage in one situation may look very different in another situation or to another person. So they are qualities existing within us, and the beauty of them is that they take form in different ways, adapting to whatever situation you're in. Really cool. Okay, so I'd love to know if anyone has any comments around curiosity, compassion, and courage, and around this viewpoint or perspective of seeing them as qualities within ourselves to be revealed rather than to be kind of created or built up in some way. And then nip over to the chat now and see.
I have a question, Vicky. What happens when one of those might be a little bit more dominant than perhaps the others? If they're not, is that something that you experience like in a balanced way, or can you maybe be slightly more curious but not very compassionate? Like, I'm just thinking off the top of my head as a random question that popped in.
Yeah, cool. So can you say a bit more about it, Stace?
I was just thinking, like, if there is an imbalance between some of them, my laptop's being a bit noisy. So what happens, like, if there's curiosity without the compassion or the courage, or compassion without, like, can you have compassion without curiosity or courage without the curiosity and compassion? Do they all work with one another, or are they separate? Can they be out of balance?
Cool.
Am I making any sense?
Yeah, you are making sense. And what's coming up for me, and also seeing Hayley's reply about compassion, curiosity, and courage, I think that's really linked. And also looking at the head, heart, gut diagram that I've put on there, the thing that it occurs to me to share is something from MBIT, which is multiple brain integration technique, which is a type of coaching that looks at the wisdom of the head, the heart, and the gut, and is the coaching approach is all about helping people tune in to each of them. And what we find when we're working with that approach is that sometimes someone can be very much in their head around something. So actually in MBIT, the head is creativity rather than curiosity, but that's fine. So the mind in MBIT, if the mind was dominant, it would be being very creative, but almost overly creative if it was dominating. So it would maybe be creating lots of stories, finding lots of evidence for things, and really like working in overdrive to try and solve something without tuning into the kind of the power in the heart, which is the compassion, and the power of the gut, which is the courage. So absolutely, I think that people can experience something. And from my experience as well, that's often where mine goes. If I'm stressed or I'm out of balance, feeling out of balance, my head's taken over most often, and it's not listening to my heart, or it might be a little bit listening to my heart, but my gut's normally out of the picture. Oh dear, my Mac will go to sleep soon. Oh dear. So what can I do here? Oh, good. People are typing. Okay, so I'm gonna pause there, and I'm gonna have to let people type, and I'm gonna have to go and grab my charger. I'm so sorry. This is embarrassing.
Okay. Feel free to share more thoughts in the chat, everyone. Haley shared a nice little comment here about if you lead with the head, then you may end up on a path that doesn't feel aligned with who you really are, which comes from the heart. I'll wait to share these when Vicky comes back so that she can offer some extra thoughts on them. I actually have a question for everyone whilst we're just waiting for Vicky. Out of these three, like the curiosity, the compassion, and the courage, is there one or two that particularly stand out for you as to which ones you feel like you have challenges with, or can find a little bit hard experiencing or moving into? It'd be interesting to see what is coming up as a challenge for everyone here. Courage. There's a comment here about compassion as well. That's really good. I'll relay these comments back to Vicky as well when she comes back, and let her know what I asked you guys. I think that can be quite common. Hello.
Hi, I'm so sorry. And then my computer crashed by the time I got back. Oh, let's have a look at these conversations.
So I asked some people once you popped off then, if out of like these three, if there were any particular ones like the curiosity, the compassion, or the courage that they find particularly challenging. And there's just a couple of comments here around self-compassion and courage.
Oh yeah, great. And David's saying what he thinks self-compassion means, letting myself give myself credit for the small things. That's beautiful. Yeah. For me, courage is the hardest. Oh, great. Oh yeah, can't it, Hayley? Absolutely. Yeah. So people saying then, so yeah, the head often taking over, the gut being the gut for our courage being like the harder thing to kind of let come forward. Especially, I love that. It can be hard to be courageous when you're in survival mode and hiding yourself. Yeah, absolutely. These are beautiful reflections. Yeah, so absolutely, Stacey. So in answer to the first question, yeah, they absolutely can be one more dominant than others. But I think what's coming to me now that's interesting is even the term out of balance doesn't sit right for me because, although we might use that phrase, I think we can use the phrase, but we must remember to do it with non-judgment. So I know that for me, when I am in my head a lot, that when I do that and I'm not listening to my gut, sometimes self-criticism can step in then and be like, oh, you're so stupid. You know about this stuff. Like, why are you in your head when you know about MBIT? Come on, just be using all of your areas. Why aren't you using your compassion? And then it's like, oh, I'm not using any compassion here because now I'm just being mean to myself. And so the judgment can really easily creep in. So I would say even when we are out of balance is totally natural and normal. So this fluctuation, this ebb and this flow is completely normal and natural. But there are some really great ways that we can almost like, I see it more now like inviting in the other areas. So if we notice, wow, I'm really in my head, then it's like, okay, so now give space for the compassion and the courage to come through from the heart and the gut. And you might find that you can do this by kind of maybe even for me holding my hand on my heart or on my gut just allows you to kind of, oh yeah, okay, those places are there as well. Sometimes even you might find that you want to bring some compassion to the head, and you might even just want to feel your head like, wow, it's on overdrive, really working really hard, especially like you said, if you're feeling isolated or lonely and then the mind gets really busy overthinking things. It's like, you're okay, kind of a bit of reassurance with the hand even to the body, and then allowing these areas to come through, be heard and be felt, because they're there, they haven't gone anywhere. You haven't lost the courage and the compassion. And it's just about tuning back into it. So you can do that kind of through the body, but also through the breath. I know Hayley particularly will know lots about this. Stacey, did you do your MBIT training yet?
Okay.
Okay.
So I haven't done mine yet.
Not yet. Okay.
I've been on the receiving end of it though, and I've been coached myself, like being the coach. Yeah.
Yeah. So in there we use a lot about the power of the breath, and we do something called balanced breathing, which is breathing in for a count of 6 and out for a count of 6, and it just can calm the autonomic nervous system or fire it up, whichever way you need to go. So someone might come to you, or you might find yourselves in a state of feeling really lethargic, really kind of withdrawn, kind of almost like feeling kind of depressed and down, and the breathing of that pattern can kind of bring you up a little bit and bring you into more awareness and more alertness. And equally, if you're the other way, if you're feeling really overstressed and frantic and kind of panicky, and you're in that state, the balanced breathing kind of brings you back down again. So it's just meeting in this balanced state. And what you will often find from that balanced state is that you can start to tune much more easily into each one of the 3 centers, and then get them talking to each other, get the communication flowing. If you imagine it like an energy flow, sorry, I'm just really aware I have not prepared for talking about this evening, but I'm just going for it anyway. Yeah, imagining like all of your energy, if you have been head heavy, kind of all of your energy's up here, and it's like whizzing around here, and we want to create a kind of a beautiful flow between the 3 areas, so that it's just gently going back and forth between them. So we get them communicating with each other, and then really expressing what they feel with the situation, so that we can hear from each of them, and then they can become integrated. And that's what we call a state of balance again, when you've got the curiosity and the creativity from the head center, the compassion from the heart, and the courage from the gut. Knowing that, I think I'm right about this. Hayley, feel free to correct me if I get any of this incorrect. Knowing that, although the creativity is the predominant kind of quality of the head. Have you magically posted a balanced breathing article?
I think Hayley might have.
Hayley's on it. Thank you, Hayley.
Very helpful tool for everyone. Would recommend having a read of that. Awesome.
Yeah. So wonderful. There's an article, and yes, good. Then you can follow some instructions rather than rely on mine now. Yeah, knowing that, so compassion and courage can also come from the head center. Also, all 3 of them from the heart center. Also, all 3 of them from the gut center. But what they're kind of like their thing that they're really best at, I guess, is how I describe it, is that the head center is creativity, the heart center is compassion, and the gut is courage. But knowing that we've got all of them throughout our centers as well. Okay, cool. Lovely. Trying to rely more on instincts and awareness rather than my thoughts. Yeah, absolutely. That's lovely, Tracy. Because you're realizing it sounds to me like you're realizing there that it's kind of, I had this realization, like, just because I think something, it doesn't make it true. So the mind is just fantastically creative. It can create anything. It's like, I use this analogy sometimes that it's like Play-Doh. So if you've got a ball of Play-Doh and you imagine having it, right, I could say, right, make something out of that Play-Doh, and you could make one thing. And then I can say, okay, put that back together and then make something else. And you could forever be putting that Play-Doh back together and creating something else from it. And our minds with thought is exactly the same. It can think anything. And you'll notice yourself, like, it can think anything, as in, like, you can be thinking one thing one moment and the opposite the next. So if you're thinking about yourself, one moment you can feel like a complete success, and the next moment a complete failure. The mind can use thought to create you as maybe a shy person, and then the next moment a loud person. It can create you one moment looking really nice in the mirror, and the next moment, no, you look awful. And so it's really such a so creative, and not a whole lot of consistency when we start to look at it in more detail and become more aware of it. So I love what you're saying there. You're saying that actually, if you look somewhere else other than these, like, all over the place thoughts, because everyone, to be honest, has thoughts that are all over the place. They kind of jump from one area to another. Sometimes we don't even want to admit the thoughts that we're having in our head, which maybe comes back to this shame idea, that there's probably a whole load of thoughts that you don't want to admit to someone else, but they're there nonetheless. Nonetheless, they're there. And so you're saying, rather than rely on this for information or for guidance, looking to somewhere else. Absolutely beautiful, right? There is another place to look, and it's within the awareness. It's within the intuition. So powerful to look there and to start realizing that you don't have to rely on the thoughts to guide you in your life. That's really cool. Thank you for bringing that in. That's great. Okay, what have we got here? Yeah, who told you that? Where's the evidence? As I have no one to say I'm being an idiot. Yeah, I love that. So who told you that? So yeah, is that when, Tracy, can I ask, is that like when you've got an opinion of yourself kind of, or you're really finding yourself going down a path, like you're stopping and questioning yourself? Where's the evidence for that? I'll give you a minute to respond. And yes, absolutely, Hayley. Thank you for popping that in there. All ancient wisdom now backed up by neuroscience. Yeah, it's so cool, isn't it, how they're intertwining with each other. Tracy, yeah, I'm judging myself harshly or thinking unhelpful thoughts about who I am. Great. So that stopping and questioning is just the curiosity and the courage, actually, that we're talking about here. It's being willing to, yeah, call ourselves out on our thoughts, I suppose. Is so interesting. So I share with you another analogy that really helped me. I don't know if it's an analogy or a metaphor. In this moment, I'm not sure what the difference is. So if it's it's either or. Okay, so let me explain this to you. So this comes from a lady who I went on a course with something called the Human Givens, which is a great approach to therapy and therapeutic work. So I did some courses through them, and one of them was actually about storytelling. And in this course, we learnt to see our minds as a stage, and we learnt to start to become familiar with the characters that were on our stage, the stage of our mind. And so, like you're saying here, the judging yourself harshly. So for me, I also had that character on my stage. She was on stage a lot. And what I started to do was to name the characters. That was something that appealed to me. So I named her Critical Chrissy. I see you've got you've used the word harsh there. So maybe you've got Harsh Harry, or Harsh Henrietta. I like doing the alliteration. You don't have to do that if you don't want to name your characters like that. But what it helped me to do was that I saw that I had Critical Chrissy, and she was on stage a lot. Now, occasionally there was a kinder character on stage, and so I named her Kind Katie, actually named after a friend who's like exceptionally kind and called Katie, so that made sense. In fact, it helped me to imagine her sometimes. And then I can't remember the other ones, to be honest, but you start to notice the flavor of your thoughts or the feeling of your thoughts. So rather than the content of them as such, there was kind of like, where's that coming from? And is it coming from a critical place or from a kind place? Is it coming from maybe an excited place or an enthusiastic place or a sad place, or and naming those characters and seeing them at play on the stage? And what that helped to do was to start taking that step back. Now, who was it who was just saying about that? Was that you, Tracy, or Julia up here? I can't remember. Oh, I'm not going to look for it. Stop looking at the chat, Ricky. So what it helps you to do, oh, it's just popping up now. Okay. What it helps you to do is to step back. And the next stage then, so you're stepping back, you're seeing your mind as a stage, you're noticing the characters on and off, and you realize you are not those characters. You're watching those characters. You can see them. You're not the characters. And we start to understand, oh, I'm not those thoughts. I'm not those characters on stage. Okay, wow, so who am I? And so the first stage for me back then was to realize that I'm the director. And this is what we were taught on the course. You're the director. You get to say who comes on stage and who goes off stage. So this was a really powerful thing for me, because what it enabled was that, so Critical Chrissy would come on stage. Now, to start with, I wasn't really noticing that. It was so my normal kind of, I don't know, whatever you call it, right? The normal film role. It was the normal play. I was so used to watching it, I didn't really even realize at that point it was a character on the stage. So Critical Chrissy would come on. Oh, that was a crap lesson. You should have done that better. I'm not sure all the kids understood that. This is when I was a teacher, by the way. not sure the kids understood it. Oh, you could have done that so much better. You didn't even get to the plenary. That was rubbish, right? And originally, to start with, that would be flowing, and I was so used to it that I didn't notice it. And then your awareness becomes greater somehow, and you catch it earlier. And then I could catch it and say, oh, Critical Chrissy's on stage. Oh, hang on, I'm the director. Critical Chrissy, I'd say to myself, this is not your time. You're on stage at the wrong time. Please leave the stage. Kind Katie, please come on the stage. And then I'd imagine my friend, Kind Katie, what she'd say to me. And she might say something like, hey, good job on getting through a lot of that lesson. I noticed that some of the children perhaps didn't get some of that. I wonder what we could do to help them with that understanding. Oh, you did really well. I see that you built on the learning from yesterday. That was really good. And she'd just say nice stuff, right? And so I came to realize that if I brought Kind Katie on stage, I could start speaking with the compassion that we've talked about, with the compassion to myself rather than the criticism. And I was in control of that, right? I was the director. So catch Critical Chrissy on stage, send her off, bring on Kind Katie. I think I had other ones that I had a Reality Rex, and Reality Rex was just very much interested in the facts. So Kind Katie came with lots of reassurance. Reality Rex just wanted the facts. So Reality Rex would say, you did the introduction and you got most of the way through the main lesson. You didn't get to the plenary. Most children understood, some didn't. No emotion. That's just what seems to have happened here. No emotion in it. I was so helpful to hear his voice sometimes because the emotion is what drew me in. Oh, was I a bad teacher? Am I a bad teacher? Oh no, thank goodness, I'm a really good teacher. Okay, phew. And you're still in that kind of caught up in all that emotion. And Reality Rex came on and it was just so neutral. This is just what happened. No judgment either way. So cool. Anyway, play with this yourself if you're interested. It was really powerful for me. And I suppose in where I'm at with that metaphor now is to see that you're not the characters, you're not the director even, but perhaps you're the stage. You're the space in which all of this unfolds, where all of these characters come to life, where there appears to be a director directing it, and you're the space in which all of that happens. And that's as far as I've got with that realization. It feels big, it feels important to me in my path of my journey now. And I'm not quite sure what it means, but it feels cool. So that's where I'm at with that. So let's see. I'm just going to hop over to the chat and see. We are completely off like where I had planned. This is so fun. Okay.
Just interactive with what's actually coming up with those who are here tonight.
Yeah, it's really cool. Hey. Okay, what's Hayley said here? We all have these different parts. We aren't one of them. We can watch them and invite other parts in and ask for wisdom from elsewhere. Always nice to thank the parts for sharing too. Beautiful compassion, Hayley. Super. Yeah. And also, so I don't know if, because I'm not sure of the timing, whether Hayley now here is talking about head, heart, gut wisdom or the characters, but that kind of applies for both, interestingly, right? We aren't only the head, the heart, the gut. We aren't only Critical Chrissy, Kind Katie, Reality Rex, and whoever else is on your stage. And we can thank them all for being here. They're all part of the whole because we're a whole, and yet none of them is who we really are, but we get to experience all of them and be aware of all of them. Nice, Hayley, thank you. Okay, this is good, seems to just be landing. Awesome. Even within our head, heart, gut, we have characters too. Ooh, nice, Hayley. Oh my gracious, we could just yeah. That could take us down a very long exploration, couldn't it? Exploring who was where. Yeah, another workshop. Yeah, lovely. Who? Oh, it's got me thinking already, Hayley. Oh no, you've opened something. Uh-oh. I say uh-oh then because I'm always tempted to follow the things that open up. But yeah, the characters, the ones that tend to show up in the heart and the head and the gut. Oh, I love that. Thanks, Hayley, for that. Okay, cool. Right. Oh, hello. I have a question. Hurrah. If we feel these emotions and if we keep on changing, who do we know who we are? What defines our identity? What a question. Awesome. Yes, mic drop. I agree. I think that might have been my mic drop. I don't know how to actually do an actual one. There is an actual one, isn't there? I don't know how. I'm not cool enough to do that, so I'm not doing that. Yeah. How do I answer that from what I see now, Julia? Oh, Millie thinks she has an answer. I know. Okay, maybe there isn't an answer and we keep changing identities. Yeah, okay, good. So this is where I was going. And that's what I didn't know how to articulate, actually, Julia. That because it's a little bit like what I was saying at the beginning, that there's a newness every moment. So every moment there's new opportunity for new growth and new us, right? New identity, absolutely. And there's this constant. Sorry, the cat just knocked something over. There is a constant, an awareness and a stillness underneath that. And so there's both. There's this changing, what appears to be like a changing identity, and something else that holds it all, that this changing identity arises in. And so for me at the moment, I'm looking between those two. I'm watching how the identity, as an idea even, the idea of me, the idea I have of who Vicky is and what she is and what she does and what she's like, is always changing. It is impermanent. It is the thing that flings from one thing to another. And it's not stable or fixed in any way. And of course it's not, because it's actually the identity, when we're looking in that direction, is made of thought. It's not anywhere. We can't say, oh, your identity is held here. And Hayley has brought up a really good point about the gut being the place in which we hold our ideas about our identity. So, and self-preservation, absolutely. I'm not sure of the science behind that to be able to explain it, but in MBIT, we're taught about that. And so we might experience it there, but you can't, like, you don't go and have an operation to like have something done with your identity in your gut. Well, not yet anyway. So it's not like it's not a physical thing. It's not in physical form. So if it's not in physical form, then what is it, right? Because it's not anywhere. We can't reach it or touch it. So therefore, our identity itself is an idea. It's made of ideas we have about ourselves. I am like this, I'm not like this. Oh, except sometimes I am like that, but I don't want to admit that because it doesn't really fit with who I think I am, right? And so it gets very confusing, and it's all made of ideas. It's all made of thought. So the identity isn't actually a thing in itself. It's an idea. So I've been exploring that with the other thing that is this constant awareness. And so for me, I think what I'm seeing is that there is maybe like a true identity almost in this awareness that holds space for this, like flipping and changing self, or this separate self, or this identity. And this awareness is what we're. So the awareness that I am is the same awareness that Hayley is, the same awareness that Stacey is, you, Julia, David, Tracy, all of us. Who we are is the same thing, which is so cool to me. Like, so, like, blows my mind, explodes my heart. So cool to me that we are the same. We are one. And it's not even an identity, though. That's not the right word for it, because the identity sits over here in ideas and concepts, and who we are. Go for it.
Collective consciousness.
I might be. Is that how you understand this?
Yeah. It's that sense of like there is one big consciousness, which is like the awareness that connects us all together, and then I suppose like dripping down from the collective consciousness is all our individual consciousnesses and ideas of who we are and what we're here to do, but essentially it's all one thing.
Right. Amazing. So that relates back to what I shared last time, and what's on our next slide is the ocean. Everything's the ocean. So I might be one of the waves in one moment, and then I'm another wave in the next, and that's always changing. And then Stacey's over there on it being another wave, and Hayley, and we're all our separate waves, but even those waves aren't permanent. So in any one moment, I might rise up and curve, and I'm like, oh, hi, Stacey, I can see you over there as that wave. And then back into the ocean I go to come up as another wave, and you're doing the same thing. So yeah, absolutely. And at any moment, we are nothing but the ocean. So we are that, what did you call it? Like collective consciousness. We are that one being, that one, whatever it is. And yet it expresses as individual selves, unique expressions, but that are never, ever, ever actually separate, that seem separate. It looks like there's separate waves, but really that's the ocean waving still. Yeah, awesome. Let's have a look what's coming up here. This is just amazing. Okay, yeah, emotions and thoughts are not part of our identity. To me, identity is more a sense of who we are. And yes, that can evolve. Yeah, nice. I like that word sense, Hayley. Cool. I can't remember how long it is before most of the cells in your body are replaced. And then, yeah, that's a really good point. I think Hayley's answered down there 10 years. I thought it was 7, but yeah, 7. Let's go 7 to 10 years, which is so cool. Like a whole new body, a whole new everything, every 7 to 10 years. It's just amazing, isn't it? The human system is incredible. Is it the role of values to hold it all together? These are great questions. I'll come back to that, Julia. So Hayley's saying, I mean, who we are is what we can only really sense. Identity is the language we wrap around that, the story we make up about ourselves. Oh, that's so cool. I love that. So as I understand that, Hayley, from what you said, and you may or may not have meant it as this, is, oh, I love this, exploring. How much fellow explorers are we tonight? Amazing. We have a sense of who we are. For me, I think that sense relates to what Stacey and I are saying here about this, the shared consciousness. That's not what you called it. Collective consciousness, that ocean. So we have a sense that that's who we are. And then we wrap an identity around that. And in that languaging, it's almost as if we step away from who we really are and create something separate, like an identity that's separate, which seems to be part of our evolution anyway. Cool. The cells in our body are replaced every 10 years. It's fascinating. We should have weekly exploring sessions. Love that idea. Okay, where have we got here? Is it the role of values to hold it all together? Interesting question. Values for me come into the identity, the shifting identity. Now, values kind of, as I see it, and I'm not saying I'm right, this is just you know, what's coming to me now. One way of seeing it, values and beliefs seem to be thoughts that we think are true, or that we place a heavier value on somehow than another thought, as if they're fixed. They seem more fixed to us for some reason, right? We've repeated them more often, or we found more evidence for them, or we've become emotionally attached to them in some way. They're still thought. They're still as unfixed as anything else. So often people, and you know, it's such a useful exploration to go through it in one way. So it depends where you're exploring from, Julia. For me, if you want to explore this identity, this shifting and changing thing, whatever it is, not a thing, no thing, this shifting and changing idea, if you want to explore that in more detail, sometimes it's very helpful and grounding almost for you to settle on values and beliefs that you hold to be true. And yeah, I suppose that's what it is. It's grounding, isn't it? People feel, you feel stronger when you have a value or a belief. You feel maybe more resilient. I don't know what they do for us, right? But they do something. We're all very attracted to having beliefs and having values. So that's got to be something within our evolution of our separate identity. There must be some value in it. So on one hand, if you're exploring here in this ever-shifting idea of an identity, cool, have a look at what values and beliefs seem to be true to you. But I would invite you to see if you can explore them without an attachment to them, because essentially what values and beliefs are trying to do is to secure that identity. We're trying to take something that's ever shifting and changing and fix it. You can't fix it. It's made of thought. Thoughts come and they go and they come and they go. They're the Play-Doh. Back together, made something else. Back together, made something else. You can't fix it in place. And yet the identity is constantly seeking that. So of course it's natural, right? It's an insecure identity because it's flipping and changing all the time, and it's trying to secure itself. And so it can be I suppose it feels securing. Is that, can you say that? To attach more deeply to a belief or a value. But what you're forgetting then, what you can forget, is that you're so much more than that. You're so much more than anything fixed. You're forgetting that the awareness, that this collective consciousness, that you're forgetting you're the ocean. It's like you're a wave and you think, I really like this wave. I want to stay this wave. So I'm going to find a whole load of evidence and a whole load of values and a whole load of beliefs to hold on to. And I'm going to hold really fast and really tight to it. And the thing with waves is that they change. And so experience is going to shift and change, and it will challenge this secure identity that you think you've got, whichever way it goes. So if you think that you are, if you think you're really an awesome person, reality will challenge it. If you think you're a really awful person, reality will challenge it, because this is just not fixed. You can't fix it in place. And so I think that you can explore it and be curious about it, because wow, isn't that fascinating, this identity that I'm creating? But you can't forget that that's not really who you are, that you're the ocean. You're so much bigger than that wave. You're so much greater than that wave. And if you don't look there, you can fall into trying to secure something that can't be secured, as far as I can tell. Okay.
Okay. I'm just gonna. I would happily allow this to go on for probably another like 3 hours, but we do.
I know we've reached our time. I can see that Hayley is popping up stuff. This is awesome, Hayley. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Popping up stuff.
This is going to be a co-created workshop.
It's a totally co-created workshop. Like, we planned it. Which is nice. We didn't. yeah, thank you, Hayley. So please do check out those resources if you want to explore this stuff more. What should I do? Should I look at the chat to wrap this up, Stace? And
yeah, just any final, like if there's any like final questions that anyone has,
yeah, cool.
has just start bringing it to wrapping up. But yeah, this has been so interesting, so fascinating.
Yeah, really fascinating. I don't know how to get out of. Oh, I see the button. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I love that, Hayley. Thank you. Identity is quite head-based. It's created. Values are held at a heart level, and these can update as we grow. Julia's saying, really interesting. I never thought about it this way. To me, identifying my values was a stepping stone in understanding who I am, and they've been my stars when I don't know where to go. Beautiful. Stars when I don't know where to go. Yeah, they can absolutely, they can guide you. Super. That's great. Thank you so much. So glad I touched base tonight. Really enjoyed it. Please now have access to the first session I missed at all. Yes, I believe that's somewhere, isn't it, Stacey? Oh, yes, Hayley.
You're able to grab the list for it. Yeah. Yeah, Hayley's going to grab the link for it.
Yeah, go team. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. I love that I didn't get past my third slide. It was amazing. Thank you. It's so cool. Thank you for all of your inputs, for all of your questions, for your curiosity. The lady that asked about shame at the beginning, I'm wondering where she is now. Feel free to message me about that if you want to keep that conversation going. I'd love to know what came up for you. Super. Oh, yeah, thanks, Ellie, for being here too. Amazing. Cool.
So, yeah, so Hayley's just popped up a link there to for the first part that we did of this. So yeah, feel free to click on that, everyone. Yeah. Oh, how lovely. What a lovely shared space we've had this evening.
An awesome shared space. So nice. Thanks, fellow explorers.
That's been great. I'm also just going to use this opportunity now, seeing as it's kind of come up in the discussion today, but on the 8th of April, I will be doing a workshop around that whole idea of exploring who we truly are beneath all this crap. So feel free to pop that in your diaries. And
cool. What time are you on for that day?
More exploring. I have not got that far. I just know it will be on the 8th of April.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Super. Yeah. Alrighty. Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
Are we off, Stace? Is that okay?
Much, Vicky. Huh?
Are we ready to close?
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, and Hayley's just mentioned that
next week's workshop.
When this page closes, you'll be taken to a link to sign up for next week's workshop, which is also going to be really interesting because that's all about how we bring more fluidity into our lives to help ease that stuckness that we can get ourselves into sometimes. So yeah, I think that follows on lovely from this conversation that we've had this evening.
Yeah.
Well. So, and run by Lizzie, who trained us all.
Yeah. Oh, thanks so much, everyone.
Right.
Good
night.
Thank
you so much. And thank you, Vicky.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thanks for exploring together. Bye, everyone.
Bye.